Okay guys, so today we're going to take a look at my Magnavox Odyssey 2 collection today. And this is a very underappreciated console that came out at a really awkward time because right around the time when this came out, the Atari 2600 was just getting ready to come out. I can't remember exactly what the difference is between the launch of this thing and the launch of the Atari, but you know, the Atari, as everyone knows, was a lot more popular, so, you know, this thing was left to be pretty much forgotten as soon as the Atari 2600 came out, and definitely was left to be forgotten once the Intellivision and ColecoVision came out, so this thing, you know, is very underappreciated, and that's kind of a shame because there's some pretty decent games on here, and I really like the controllers for this system. The console itself is actually kind of ugly in my opinion. To me it looks like a typewriter, but you know, whatever. I mean, it just reeks of the time period, so I guess in that sense it just makes it really cool. Here's the box I have for it, and the console I have wrapped up in bubble wrap just to protect it. It's the console, like I said, it's kind of ugly. The version I have of the Odyssey 2 has detachable controllers. The one that most people that I know have the version of the Odyssey 2 where the controllers are actually hardwired into it. But the one that I have has silver controllers and you can actually plug them in and out. And as far as I understand it, that's the first version of the Magnavox Odyssey 2 that was released. So that's pretty cool. And in this plastic bag I have everything that would have came with the Odyssey 2 when you bought it, including this game right here, Speedway, Spinout, and Crypto Logic, as well as the random manuals and other leaflets that you would have gotten with it. So that is the Magnavox Odyssey 2 console itself that I have. And now let's get into the games. Every Odyssey 2 game that I have is complete in the box with the instructions and the cartridge. And I actually have a pretty good sized collection here. I think I have, you know, roughly 3/4 of the library. I ended up getting a majority of these in a big lot that I found at a thrift store one day. I think I ended up paying only like $2 or $3 a piece for these, so I ended up grabbing all of them obviously, but yeah, I got a pretty big collection here, so let's go ahead and get started. Here we have computer intro. This is pretty neat because this pretty much converts your Odyssey 2 into a home computer. As you guys can see from this picture, it actually has a keyboard built right on it. It's not a very good keyboard, but you know, whatever, it's still a keyboard nonetheless, and this basically turns your Odyssey 2 into a computer program, so that's pretty neat actually. Never really spent too much time using it because it's not really a game, it's just more of a piece of software, but still interesting to see. And here we have Computer Golf. It's a golf game. If you guys thought that golf for the Atari 2600 was primitive, this is a lot more primitive than that, believe it or not. Same goes for a lot of these other sports games that I'm going to show you. Like this one right here, football. Not terribly exciting. Football on the Atari 2600 is actually a lot more fun than this. Some of these sports games are actually really good, but a majority of them suck just because, you know, you can only do so much with a joystick and a button. You know, you can say the same thing about the Atari 2600, but you know, Atari already had some pretty good experience making games like that in the arcades and such. Magnavox really didn't, so a majority of these sports games actually kind of suck. Like this one right here, hockey and soccer. This is like a 2-in-1 cartridge. Hockey is really, really slow, really crappy. Soccer's okay, but you know, still not very fun. I much prefer the Atari iterations of these sports. So. And we also have Cosmic Conflict. This game is kind of like Starship for the Atari 2600, if you guys are familiar with that. It's a cockpit shooter that takes place in outer space. I actually like this a lot better than Starship on the Atari 2600, so yeah, check this game out if you can find it. Alpine Skiing. It's a skiing game, not that exciting. I don't really care for it, but you know, whatever, it's in the collection. Here we have baseball, which this game is, in a lot of ways, a lot more superior than Home Run for the Atari 2600. But the control to me in this game is just really what kills it, because in Home Run it was really simple because you controlled both the batter and all 3 fielders at the same time. If you guys know what I'm talking about. In this game, as far as I understand it, they have all the fielders on the field, but I think you can only control one at a time. And, you know, like I said, you only have one joystick and one button, so that makes for a really complicated control scheme. So they had some really neat ideas with this game, but it fails in execution, so it's, once again, not very good. They could have done a much better job with that one. Here we have another 2-in-1 cartridge. This one is called Armor Encounter and Subchase. Trying to remember what these are about. Subchase, kind of looking at the picture, looks like Odyssey's version of, what's it called? Air-Sea Battle. Thank you. Air-Sea Battle for the Atari 2600. It's kind of like that. Armored Encounter, I believe, is a lot like Combat for the Atari 2600. So, yeah, Odyssey tried to make their own versions of games that were popular on the Atari, so you can kind of see the pattern with that. Here we have another one called The War of Nerves. I just love this cover art. I mean, look at that. This robot with, you know, tentacles going after this guy. That is really sweet. Can't really remember all that much what this game is about. From what I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a lot like Outlaw for the Atari 2600, but it had more of a space theme to it. But again, it's been a while since I played it, so correct me if I'm wrong. Here we got another one, Showdown in 2100 AD. This game is really, really weird. Don't really remember too much about it, and it was just really, really strange. Yeah, anyway. Here we have Bowling and Basketball. Bowling, to me, is the worst sports game on the Odyssey 2, because unlike the Atari version of bowling, where the physics actually kind of makes sense for bowling, you know, how the ball would kind of deflect off the pins a little bit as they were going down the line. Here, there's like no pin to ball physics really at all, so this was really, really lousy. Basketball, I can't really remember all that much about it. As far as I remember, it really wasn't that great too. Don't really have good, you know, takes on the sports games for the Odyssey 2, guys, as you can tell, obviously. Las Vegas Blackjack, don't really care, it's a gambling game, whoopee. I have two more to show you guys. Here we have Out of This World and Helicopter Rescue. Helicopter Rescue is kind of fun. It reminds me a lot of Choplifter, but it's a very primitive version of that, if it makes any sense. Out of This World, I can't really remember too much about it, but again, I love this artwork on here. Give you guys a look at that. It's pretty cool. And the last game I have here is Blockout and Breakdown. This is another 2-in-1 cartridge. It's a lot like Breakout, actually, as you guys can probably tell from the title and from the cover art. It's a lot like Breakout, but again, you can only play it so well with these joysticks because the Odyssey 2 never had an analog controller like the Atari did. So, yeah. Alright, guys, that is it. That is my Magnavox Odyssey 2 collection. It's a very obscure system that a lot of you guys should definitely give a try. It's got some pretty interesting games for it, and they're definitely not that expensive or in high demand, so give it a try. You might like it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, guys, have a great day.